pretty sure I started like rubbing on his dick in the cab on the way there. And then we were like making out a little bit and stuff and just feeling around. So, anyways, it was like a ways. It was a ways away. But it was late at night, thankfully. So we get there. It's this super nice apartment building, has the doorman and everything and locked and got to have a key card and a code and all this stuff and fancy flowers in the foyer. The following podcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute legal, medical, or any type of professional advice. While we strive to provide accurate and up-to-date information, laws and regulations surrounding sexuality, relationships, and consent can vary by location and are subject to change. If you have specific legal or medical concerns, we strongly recommend consulting with a licensed professional in your jurisdiction. Listener discretion is advised, as this podcast may discuss adult themes and sensitive topics. By continuing to listen, you confirm that you are 18 years or older. Welcome to the Siren of Freedom Podcast, sounding the alarm by bringing clarity and freedom to the realm of sexuality. Our aim is to give others a place to share their stories and release themselves from the weight of shame and guilt. Welcome to another night with the Siren of Freedom, and tonight we're doing one of our favorite segments, Slut Diaries. And we were just sitting out in the hot tub, me and my hubby and producer Socrates. Say hello, babe.
Hey, y'all. Hey.
So we were just sitting in the hot tub, and I was like, man, we're doing Slut Diaries tonight. And I was like, what story should I tell? And what did I say, babe?
New York, big city of dreams.
So, man, this must have been 2016.
Hold up. Before we get into that, what's going on with life? I want to start we don't need to get down to business every time.
I do like to get down to business.
What's been exciting recently? You don't have to get into too many details because it can be a Slut Diary story later. But what's been going on with you in your sexual journey recently that you can share with people that's helped you enjoy sex better or helped you mentally or emotionally or anything like that?
Well, it's sexual, but it's not sexual. It can be taken many different directions. But I've realized recently that I really enjoy being blindfolded in a variety of situations. And so much so, I wear an eye mask every single night when I sleep, if I take a nap, and during sex sometimes. So I enjoy it when Socrates will blindfold me. Sometimes he'll take me little places around the house and do things. But I think it just ultimately helps my brain relax and really enjoy the experience. Whereas I think some people, that freaks them out. I totally get it. But for me, just taking away one of the senses just helps me chill out. Where we've also done some things where I've had noise canceling headphones on or headphones and play soft music and be blindfolded while doing some sexual things with Socrates. So I just really like that the sensory deprivation helps me to relax and to enjoy the experience more.
Nice. So tell me, then we'll, get on to your story. New York. Tell me how that's helped you in just everyday life.
Well, so much so I decided I'm probably going to carry a blindfold with me. And, if I'm sitting somewhere, say I get to an appointment early, like 10 minutes early, I'm going to set a timer and I'm going to put a blindfold on and the soft music or maybe some affirmations and just give myself a brain break instead of sitting in the car scrolling TikTok for 10 minutes or going in and talking to people. Sometimes I just can take it as a midday decompression. And so that will help with my anxiety that I have. So that's how I think it'll translate into everyday life as well. All right, New York. So I think we definitely talked about 2017 in another episode, but we're dialing it back a year before that. I had just started traveling on my own. I basically was like, fuck it. Nobody's ready to go anywhere. Too much coordination with my friends. Of course I went places with my children, but as a single mom, I was like, I just need to get out of here. And one of my clients had told me a story about how they were preparing to retire. They had everything lined up, this beautiful home, and they were going to go travel. They had all these travel plans. And then they got hit by a drunk driver. And the husband was now wheelchair bound. And she had a whole bunch of physical issues from it. And I was telling her, like, how I was planning to go and travel, someday when, save up the money, all these things. And then she just took me by the hands and she looked at me with tears in her eyes and she said, "Sweetheart, don't wait." And so I had always wanted to go to New York City. So I booked a plane ticket like the next day. And I just booked it back then I was pretty broke. So I had enough money. I booked the ticket and then I booked it for a few months out. And then I, hustled and did extra stuff and got an Airbnb in downtown Manhattan. Beautiful place. I'll never do a 3-story up on the 3rd floor. There was no elevator. Hauling my bag up there. So I fly into JFK. It is atrocious. Like the traffic, everything. I'd never been there. That was the biggest city I've ever been to, and I really hadn't been to anything too crazy before that. LA a little bit, but not too much. So it is forever to get an Uber. I don't know what it said, like 45 minutes or something. And I had no idea it would be that bad. So then I'm looking and it says like Uber Black, so it's like a Cadillac Escalade will come get you and this whole thing. Well, it was like double the price, but it was like 10 minutes. So I was like, heck yeah, like time is money, right? And I wanted to get to my Airbnb. And it was probably some stupid time like rush hour on a Friday or something crazy because it took like 2 hours at least, I think, to get from JFK to downtown Manhattan. And then I get there and it was a nice guy that had the Airbnb. We each had our own bedroom and our own bathroom and it was beautiful. It was a beautiful apartment. Super nice guy. I can't remember where he said he was from, but African guy. And he had lots of great tips and no, I'll just spoiler alert, I did not hook up with him. So that's not where the story is going. No, just a super nice guy. I think he liked thinner women because I was showing him some pictures of my friends and he's like, "Oh, next time bring your friends." And I was like, "I see where you're going. To each his own, right?" So for fun, I was like, let me get on the dating apps. So I'm pretty sure I just got on Tinder while I was there. And I was like, let's see if the big city has to offer. Like, from where I'm from, it's not very diverse. So I'm like, okay, this will be awesome because there's just every shade of the rainbow out there. So I was really excited. So I swipe and I am just like overwhelmed. There is like every guy on there is hot. And I'm just like, are these all just like models or like what's going on? And as you know, I prefer black men and was no different at that time. And so, man, I'm just swiping. I'm matching with like every guy. And I'm just like, what is going on? And, as most ladies know that have been on those apps, you kind of just got to weed through people. Some people in media are like, wanna fuck, and all that. And I wasn't quite ready to go for that, but I was just wanting to have an adventure. So I talked to like a few guys. Some of them, the logistics just didn't work out. Well, there was a guy, I'm just say his name because it's like, who cares? It's like there's probably 1,000 Vincents in New York City, but his name was Vincent. And he's like, okay, so we talked for like a couple days, and he's like, what day are you free? I can't remember which day. I was there for like 4 or 5 days in New York City. And so we picked a day. I think it was on the weekend. And he's like, meet me at this one bar. And it was like a rooftop bar. So it was super cool. It was like looking over the city. Like this guy knew what he was doing. But I didn't ask him how tall he was. So, and height doesn't matter. I just like to know ahead of time. So if I'm looking for a short king or a tall king. But he was probably about 5'6". And I am 5'8" without heels, and I wore heels that night. So it was whatever. Didn't bother him. I just took me a second, and then I just, rolled on through. Nice conversation, nice place, paid for everything, our drinks. And he just told me to, do you trust me to plan the date for the evening? I was like, yeah, I don't live here. Like, sure, go for it. So we met at the rooftop bar, had a couple drinks, look over the city, and then he's like, okay, are you ready? And there was people eating there, so I thought, oh, we're going to eat here, He's like, nope, we're going somewhere else to eat. And I was like, all right. So we got a cab, and then we go to this place called Eataly. Have you heard of it, babe? Okay, so it's a market, like an Italian market, and right in the middle of the market is a restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're just like sitting in the middle of everything. It's super cool.
Yeah.
And so we got a bunch of weird food that now I know is just glorified charcuterie. At the time, I was like, what is all this weird food? But it was charcuterie. It was prosciutto, right? So I can't even say it. All these cheeses and things. And I was like, that's kind of weird. Like, I would rather just had a steak. But I wasn't going to complain, right? I'm going on a free date. So it was like, I feel like we just ate appetizers or something, but apparently it was supposed to be a whole meal. And it was like $275. And the drinks were like 100 and something. And this guy is just like peeling out the cash, like no big deal. I'm like, all right, whatever, And then he's like, do you want to go do the next thing? And I was like, there's a next thing? This is awesome. So we go to the meatpacking district. And we go to this little underground salsa club. And there's just packed with people. And it was super dark and super hot and sweaty, but like it was so fun. And it didn't even matter that I wasn't a good dancer. Like guys would just grab you, spin you around, like just do the whole thing. It was so fun. So we had a ton of fun there. And by the end of it, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Like, we are 3 for 3 on good things. And then he's like, okay. He's like, I'm getting kind of tired. You ready to go? And it was like 2 or 3 in the morning by that point. And I'm like, sure, yeah. So we go to leave. And then he's like, well, where do you want to go? And I was like, oh, I thought you were planning the date. So, like, what are we doing now? And he's like, well, I'd like to take you back. And, they always say, show me the apartment. Like, we don't care what your apartment looks like. And then I'm pretty sure I started, like, rubbing on his dick in the cab on the way there. And then we were, like, making out a little bit and stuff and just feeling around. So, anyways, it was, like, a ways. It was a ways away. But it was late at night, thankfully. So we get there. It's this super nice apartment building, has the doorman and everything and locked and got to have a key card and a code and all this stuff and fancy flowers in the foyer. And I had brought a little spin the night purse just in case, because I was like, I don't know how this is gonna go, so I was ready for whatever. And we go upstairs, and it's a super nice apartment, like all these glass windows, like something you see out of the movies, but not quite so big. It wasn't huge. It was like a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, living room, kitchen, but his bed wasn't put together. It was like a mattress and box spring, and then the pieces were like, he's like, I just got my bed. He's like, I just moved in here. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. No big deal. I've met lots of guys who just moved into places. It's not a big deal. So I go and I use the restroom. I'm like, oh, right, this place is pretty clean. It should be. You just moved in, right? And go back in the bedroom, and we start messing around, take our clothes off and all the things. And I'm pretty sure he went down on me at that point. And then, then I was like sucking his dick and just doing all things, but he just like wasn't getting hard. And I was like, okay, well, maybe like it's because he did drink, but I was like, not that much, like 2. I was like, and this is when I was pretty new to the whole life, so I wasn't used to, especially just like one night stand things, like guys not getting hard, because usually by that point they're like ready to go because it's been a while, or if they're just prowling the bars. So I keep trying to work on it, help him out, whatever. And then he just starts crying. And I was like, okay.
Well, slow down now. What kind of crying are we talking about? Are we talking about boo-hoo? Like, are we talking about a little teardrop fell on the edge of his eye? Like, what are we talking?
No, like boo-hoo, like sobbing. He just starts sniffing, and first I was like, oh, just gotta like sneeze or something. And then he starts, like crying, like boo-hooing. And I said, are you okay? I was like, did I hurt you or something? And he's like, no. And so I kind of just leave it alone, and I crawl up next to him, and he like buries his face in my chest and is just sobbing. And he's like, I'm really sorry. I think I'm just having trouble. And I was like, that's fine. I've heard these things can happen, because I think that was like my first time having an experience like that. And he's like, I said, well, sometimes we all have trouble. He's like, I just can't get my mind right. We had such a good night. I said, yeah, we did. We had a great night. And he's like, I think the problem is that it's my ex-wife's birthday, and I miss her so much. Okay. What do you think of that?
Was he crying and saying this at the same time?
Yeah. Sobbing into my chest. And I don't even know if they were divorced yet, because it's like he just moved in that apartment, right? So I think, it was fresh. And I was like, and you know what? I'll tell another story another day, but that is not the first time that a guy cried during sex. And I'm not shaming it at all, but I'm just like, sometimes you just don't know like what people are going through, and although it's very awkward, I just tried really hard not to like make it any worse, right? So then he kind of gets it out and calms himself down. And he's like, okay, well, I just want to try again. And I'm like, I'm not in the mood at this point. But I'm kind of like, well, whatever. And I think to myself, this is going to be a good story for the girls. So I just keep doing whatever. So I end up, and babe, before I got my boob job, I didn't really have a lot of boobs. But somehow I titty fucked this man. And he just came on my boobs. And then that was like it. And then he leaves the room. And I'm just laying there with his jizz all over my chest, like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what the fuck am I doing? And he goes out to the living room, and then I immediately pick up my phone, and I text my two best girls at the time, Mallory, which you guys have heard about in another episode, and then this other girl, we'll call her Jennifer. And I'm just like telling them what's going on, and they're like, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I feel awkward as fuck. I have jizz on my chest. Like, what should I? He went in the other room. I don't know, like, what he's doing. I don't know what to say. This is just so, I've never been in this situation. And they're like, just get up and leave, bitch. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. But I just didn't know what was going to happen, right? I didn't think he was going to get mad or anything. I was just like, I don't want to have that, oh, that was great conversation. But thankfully, when I got up and like went to the bathroom to clean up, he was on the couch, just buck-ass naked, like passed out. Just passed out. And so I was like, oh, sweet. So I like hurried, went in the bathroom, like cleaned up. And then I just put on my little pajamas that I had brought. Like these little short shorts and a little tank top, right? And then shoved it my shoes and everything. No, I think I had my shoes in my hand, typical run of shame is what I would call this. And I was like, I just got to get out of here because I don't want him to wake up. And I called an Uber on my phone. And then I go downstairs and the door guy was like, oh. And I said, don't ask. Don't ask. And he's like, have a good night. And he's like, do you have a safe ride home? He was like, really nice. I said, yeah, the Uber's coming to get me. So the best part was that when I left and got in the Uber, it was that Uber driver's first night ever driving Uber. And I told him the entire story. And then he just was like, wow, is this what every night driving Uber is going to be like? Oh, I don't know. So it was pretty funny. But then I think right when I got in the Uber, like he woke up and he started texting me, where'd you go? Why'd you leave? Da, 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 da. And I was just like, I'm just really tired. I'm going to go back to my Airbnb. He's like, okay, well, maybe we can have a picnic tomorrow and I'll make it up to you. He's like, I'd like to do that since it's my ex-wife's birthday. I want to do something fun and not think about her. And I was like, I am not going on a picnic with you. But I probably just told him some bullshit. Like, oh, yeah. And then the next day, tomorrow or whatever, I got too busy, magically, mysteriously, and just blew him off. Because I was like, this is too weird. I'm sorry you're going through this with your ex-wife, but like, it was too weird for me. I couldn't do it. Have you ever had anything super weird like that happen? I feel like you have some sort of slut story along those lines. No? Nothing weird ever happened to you?
Like, I don't know, just married women hitting on me or something like that. Besides that, no.
Oh, that's boring.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of weird stories. I really don't. I guess I'm fortunate. I don't have a lot of weird or like horror stories when it comes to sex.
Yeah, I'm glad. Maybe men are just a little bit. I don't know how many guys I've heard tell me anything bad, because guys don't want to seem like they complain about it, because then they're really not getting it from the female community. I don't know. But women, we tell each other all the stories. If it's good, if it's like really good, a lot of times in those days, I would like not tell people. I would just be like, oh, it's really good. But if it was bad, oh, you're getting all the details. Especially if it was your man. You weren't like telling everything about it.
Why not?
Because that was like your man, and then you weren't going to like tell other bitches about him.
Why not?
Because that's mine.
What's gonna happen? I want to dig deep into this mystery that women, like, I've heard this over and over and over. If he's bad, oh, you were gonna tell you everything. But the better he is,
because it's not that good of a
information.
Because their women aren't really that excited, because they're like, oh, that's your man, and like that's cool for you. They almost get jealous. But you tell a bad story, they're like, yeah, bitch, I've been there. Like, fuck men, or whatever. Like, there's some camaraderie in that. And then in the good stories, they're like, fuck you, bitch. You got a good guy. He takes care of you. Or the classic, geez, does he have a brother comment? Stuff like that. So that was New York City. I also went to the Museum of Sex while I was there, and that was very eye-opening. I went with a woman that I met online at it was a group called The Woman Hole on Facebook, and they tell lots of crazy sexual stories. And so she was on there, and she's like, I live in New York City. I said, I'd love to meet up for lunch. And she's like, yeah, let's go to the Museum of Sex. So that's really interesting because it has like all the birth control contraptions, all different kinds of sex toys through the ages, like drawn pornography, I guess. And then books from like old novels and stuff, and then just talks about, animals versus humans and their sex lives and all kinds of interesting things. And then there's even a bounce house that has a bunch of inflatable boobs in it. And you can bounce around in inflatable booby world. Which we did not do because it was extra. And I was like, that's fine. We peeked in there at people bouncing around on the boobs. But New York City was really fun. But that's the only guy. After that, I was like, that's a good enough story. Now, if I went like nowadays and was single, I would be a lot more crazy than that, I think. I'll try to have a new guy every night or something. But I was tired. I was tired from walking around and doing all the things and riding a bike all around the city. And so by the time every day was over, I was just ready to go to bed. But it was fun. I always would try to mix in some slut time whenever I would travel. Always be open to like something happening, either meeting a random stranger at a bar or a restaurant. And I don't think there was any trips. I took where I didn't hook up with someone, though. I think like every single time, no matter where I went, either someone off of an app or just meeting someone somewhere randomly. It was fun. It was a good time. I recommend it. All
right. You ready for a hard hitter?
Sure.
What did you do to not let all of that sexual activity like be harmful to your mental health?
Harmful?
Mm-hmm.
It was helpful.
Okay. Why was it helpful?
Because a lot of my friends that were single, well, Jennifer and Mallory were on the hoe train with me, so it was fine. Mallory probably the least, but me and Jennifer, every year we would like sit down and like be like, let's write down the names of all the guys. And then we would jokingly give out a little hoe crown. We did this for like 2 or 3 years. So her and I were always battling. But anybody else that we knew that was like trying to like wait and have a relationship and only sleep with people when it was meaningful, like they all just seemed like really cranky and depressed and frustrated all the time. And that's all they ever talked about, is how they were frustrated with men. And me, Mallory, and Jennifer, we would tell the guy stories, but we would just laugh and move on because we were just out to have fun and just interact with men in whatever capacity. If some of them we ended up going on a few dates, some of them we never went on a date, some people it was a one-night stand, some people we hooked up with a few times, but we always got really good stories out of it, either funny or like awkward or mostly funny. Or some really good ones. Like this one guy was like, his body felt like melted butter. And so they still say stuff like that to me, like, oh, what about that one guy that was like butter? So, just little things like that. Or we go to a music festival, we were always just like living our life. So to me, like being a hoe was like better for my mental health because I think that I was doing it with the girls too, like not at the same time, like even though we were in the same hotel room a few different times. Um, but because we were all out there being hoes and we were all older, divorced women. I think that was a big thing. Like we were in our mid-30s, divorced, kind of same place in life. And then we were all just like encouraging each other to just go be the biggest hoes we wanted to be. And then we would meet up on like a weekday or whatever. We were always together. And we would always get together and like talk about what we did, or, oh, did you end up going home with that guy? Or like, you know, so and so. Jennifer was kind of working her way through some of the football guys in our community, which ironically I never muddied in those waters except for one dude. So, which is kind of weird for me. I thought that would be a good place to, you know, get some dudes. But anyways, I'll let Jennifer have that genre. Yeah, so I think it was good for our mental health because we were just having the time of our lives and sharing those experiences with each other. So I never, ever, ever thought of it as something I had to like protect myself from. It just felt good. I can't wait. I love the Slut Diaries, and I can't wait for the next one. I need to start writing down some of the ideas for the stories. If you ladies listening have any good slut stories that you want to come on here and do the Diaries of an Ethical Slut, send us an email at the Siren of Freedom at gmail.com, and we would love to have you on. You can be anonymous. You know, if you've been listening, you know we use fake names, but we'd love to hear your stories and like whatever has happened to you at whatever phase of life that you were a hoe. We'd love to hear the hoe stories.
So I got a question. You're a good reader. What if they don't really want to even be on the show, but you read some stories that they might send in? Would you be willing to do that?
Oh yeah, I think that's a great idea.
That would be dope.
Yeah, or if they have questions, or maybe they want to hear a story on a certain topic. I probably have something. But yeah, if they want to write their story down, that would be dope. Let's do it. Send in your hoe stories. Have a good night. Thank you so much for listening today. We hope this podcast has been an encouragement to you. You can find us on our website, thesirenoffreedom.com, and also on social media and Patreon under the Siren of Freedom Podcast. Your support is what helps us continue to sound the alarm of freedom.